Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do have the distinct privilege of introducing our luncheon speaker, Mr. Michael Grant. Michael is the president of both the National Bankers Association and its foundation. He is also board secretary for the MinBank Scholarship Fund for minority banks. One of 17 children. Bless him. That's enough to pause on it. Make you think. But they don't do that no more. That don't happen no more. He's a 1983 graduate of the Howard University School of Law. He's authored 2 books, Beyond Blame, Race Relations in the 21st Century, and Your Marvelous Mind, Motivation for Meaningful Living. As a corporate consultant for 15 years, Grant's firm, which he was co-owner, claimed as his clients some of America's best-known companies, Marriott and the Ritz-Carlton Hotels, McDonald's Corporation, Harrah's Casinos, Western and Hilton Hotels, Dell Computers, the Cracker Barrel Corporation, Metropolitan Development Housing Authority of Nashville, and many, many others. He is the recipient of numerous awards and citations, including the Golden Keys Honor Society Award for Outstanding Services, and is listed in Who's Who in Washington, D.C. He served as a member of the Commission for the Future of Tennessee's judicial system. He served as the president of the Nashville branch of the NAACP and of the chief fundraiser of the NAACP's Tennessee State Conference of Branches. He also co-founded the Greater Nashville African American Chamber of Commerce. He authored a column for the National Newspaper Publishers Association and was twice featured in Black Enterprise Magazine, Ebony Magazine's top 50 leaders of national organizations. He has appeared twice on Tony Brown's Journal and BET's Real Business Show. During his 2.5-year tenure as president of the NBA, not the National Black Basketball Association, Grant has worked with the association's board to rebrand the organization, thus increasing its visibility and intensifying its advocacy in the nation's capital. Without a vibrant community and minority business sector, the world's largest economy would never reach its potential. These banks have mastered the art of relationship banking. They are economic engines that support entrepreneurship and promote job creation and communities all over the world. I asked Michael, I said, well, okay, what are you going to speak about? And he said, I'm going to talk about what you're about. And that's, I want to talk about blacks doing business with blacks and the turnover of the dollar. So here we're going to have, as our afternoon speaker, somebody speak about a subject in which nobody likes to talk about, but it's ours. It's not an entitlement. It's not a set-aside. It's our money. We don't need to ask permission. It's our money. We can do with it what we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the man who's going to talk about how to nail Jell-O to a tree, Mr. Michael Grant.
Thank you so much, Brother Winfrey Dukes. It's great to be with you again. I see the king of the Senate and the House and everything over there. We came down to you so many times for things, and you've helped us with through the years. Thank you very much, Representative Spire. Charles Johnson, named after the president of Fisk University, so you know I feel close to you, brother. I just want to say to all of you, it is a great honor to be here. I mean, a real honor. And I'll tell you why I say that. We are entering a very critical period in our evolution in this country. Very critical. And there's going to be a lot of talk, but there are going to be some serious folks. And when I think about Dr. W.B. Du Bois' talented 10th, when he brought that term to us early in the 1900s, I was thinking about what kind of folks he was talking about. And unlike some fools who think that shades of color matter, he didn't care about that. Because he knew some of the most brilliant folks in our race were black as coal and some of the biggest idiots were whiter than white folks. He was talking about those who had our best interest at heart. That's the talented tenth. It doesn't matter whether you're a PhD or you clean the streets. If you understand that you have to pull together as a family in order to survive, you belong in the talented tenth. Does that make sense? Well, I'm looking at the talented tenth in this room, and you say, how do you know that, Mike? Well, I'm looking at representatives, as busy as their schedules are, they've made business development in our community a priority. That's why they're here. So when they give you all that applause, you deserve it. Because I've noticed in the cities I've gone in, where the black representatives are there, the movement is moving ahead. When the black politicians don't show up, well, you don't get much action. Hello? So thanks again to you all who are representatives who are taking the job seriously, okay? But the men and women here who have made business a priority, please believe that I'm coming from my heart when I say this. As much as I want you to succeed, and I mean to succeed with a burning passion, as a matter of fact, I want to open up by connecting everybody with this message. Everybody grab a partner right now. Grab somebody's hand. Male or female, don't matter. This is not Brokeback Mountain. I just want you to grab somebody's hand. Are you ready? Say to the person in front of you, your success, is my success. And I want for you, the very best. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. See, we got to start to understand, you all. We live in a capitalistic society. And nobody in this capitalistic society apologizes for taking care of their own. But us. If you go to D.C., it's not even a thing of African blood. If you go to Washington, D.C., the Ethiopians support the Ethiopians. It's those of us who came up from this whole slave tradition. They worked on us, didn't they? I'm glad Sherman came to Georgia, but listen, they worked on us so much that you got to be honest about it. The residual effects of 400 years of mind manipulation, beatings, and lynching is still having toxic effect today. Now, I'm not getting ready to give a speech about hating white folks because I don't hate white people. I don't hate anybody. I love black people. And there's a difference. You see, to talk about white people and racism all the time is to get us distracted. That's somebody else's agenda. You're not wanting me to have a contract. That's your agenda. You want to put shoes on your child's feet. You want to live in a $500,000 home. I'm not angry at you white folks for wanting something for you. I just want to know, black folks, why can't we want something for us? It ain't about hating nobody. I don't hate the Asians and the Jews. I study them. I know the Jews use the synagogues during the week to teach business to their people, teach children the history to their children. I'm not mad at those people. They're giving me a model. And listen, I studied even the Asians up in D.C. because there's a lot of organizations up there. I'm going to tell y'all something. We're not the only folks who get jealous of each other. The Koreans don't trust the Japanese, don't trust the Chinese. We're not the only ones. But you would think that everything that's wrong with the people is us. Did you all know just the opposite is true? We are known all over the planet by businessmen and women all over the planet Earth to be the most generous, accepting people in the world. Why do you think they come to our communities to build their businesses? I was watching the other night the history of Frederick Douglass's life, and I know all of you who try to stay connected to us will get back into that history on a regular basis, right? Because it's kind of like telling us where we can go. And I couldn't believe it when they said that the slaves couldn't even know what year they were born. Now, you talk about ripping somebody's identity away from them, right? Now, I know some of the ladies, and men too, probably wish they did know what year you were born. And me too, right? But that's okay. But back then, that was important. You see what I'm saying? That was about identity and who I am. Everything was stripped. Yes, sir. Everything was stripped. But you all, I'm watching how we evolved in this country. and we get mad at each other sometimes. And when you turn on the TV or you read the newspaper, all the most negative statistics are directed at us. And we turn in on ourselves and we say, what's wrong with us? I've got an answer with what's wrong with us. My friends, if you're an African American today and you're alive, the fact that you are not dead or crazy as hell is a miracle of God. Listen, we're going to get this business thing together, you all. We did it before. Didn't we have a Black Wall Street? Yes, sir. Before integration, weren't we going to each other's businesses? Yes. And weren't they all right then? We danced and we ate, We cut each other's hair, we buried each other. We were all right. Now black folks want to go to white funeral homes. Look, if you want to go over there, help yourself. But you better go check and find out whether grandma's where you put her later on. The point I'm making is this. My friends. It's a new day. And the talented 10th of our race in the year 2012 have got to have a different mindset. We have to spend more time focusing on what we're doing right than what we're doing wrong. We've got to look at our successes and talk more about our successes than our failures. We have to talk less about other people's agendas to hold us back and more about our agendas to take us forward. I'd like to throw a number out there for you with a visionary thought for the future. I heard the number 1.1 trillion. Why can't we start claiming? And you all are a model. I think you're probably the only model like this in the country. If I'm wrong, help me out, okay? But you're a model. Why can't we put this number out? By 2020, $2 trillion will not only be circulating in our community, made in our community, but we will be growing that $2 trillion. Why don't everybody say right now, $2 trillion belongs to us. Now give yourselves a round of applause. When you think about these businesses, my friends, and I know it's tough if you're in business. If you're running a business organization, it's tough to keep folk coming and supporting it. But if you're running that business, if you're an entrepreneur, you know what hell is, right? I mean, it requires not only finding a need and filling it, it requires getting up every day, being motivated, right? It requires not just what are the best practices, you got to always be asking yourself, what are the next practices, right? It's continuous improvement. It requires so much to be successful in business. But friends, let me just throw a few things out. Some of you are younger than me, so you got to hear this if you have not. First of all, pay your taxes. Amen. I know sometimes that cash flow is so, you sweat, but pay your taxes. Why? Because if you don't, you will become a slave to IRS for the rest of your life. Because it is compounded, and then compounded. Hello? Pay your taxes. The next thing is watch your cash flow, you all. We live in America, and everything is about materialism. There's nothing wrong with material things. But don't get the Mercedes-Benz until you can afford it. Don't get it till you can. First of all, somebody said we will go out to spend money we don't have, right? To buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't like. That's crazy, isn't it? Some folks stay poor trying to convince people that they're rich. Y'all, let's stop it, okay? We don't need the validation anymore. I know for 400 years we were told we were nothing. We took this country from a small colonial outpost to the greatest industrial giant the world has ever known. We did it. Your grandparents and grandfathers and mine. We don't get credit for anything. All the great inventions, we did it. Listen, the notion of democracy itself was ours. We don't give ourselves credit, you all. We look at each other and we're still carrying a certain amount of despised negritude inside of us. Why? Because the mind is not only an individual mind, our minds are connected to each other through a collective mind. Hello? And if you ever read Dr. Carl Jung, you'll read about the collective unconscious. Hello? That means that we're all thinking some of the same thoughts. But here's the good news. There's a thing called therapy. And there's a thing called group therapy. Yeah. If we're going to talk about collective efforts where we pull our money together, you will know that we're getting healthier, not only when we say support black business, but when we get excited about each other's success, you will know we are going through the therapy. We have to understand, friends, it's not as simple as people want to make it sound. Why the black folk, we got the highest unemployment, our dropout rate. None of that is by accident. Listen, school integration, some of y'all are old enough. I went to a school as a head in grades before they put, I remember when all my teachers were black. I bet you didn't act up in that class. Hello? Hello? Okay. Things have happened to us, you all, and now we're trying to get it back together. By God's grace, we had an incredible prophet and leader who walked across this land and was dead at 39. We had two, frankly. We had Malcolm and we had Martin. And they came and tried to tell us, pretty much the way Moses told the Israelites, I can get you there. Doc said, I can't get there with you, but I can get you there. Before Dr. King died and before Malcolm died, they had come together around the principle of economic development must be our priority. Look, nobody is going to save us but us, and nobody should save us but us. We don't need anybody's sympathy. All we need to do is start looking at black folks and saying every time you see a black person anywhere, I love you. You are me. How can I love me if I can't love you and you look like me? We need the therapy. But it's coming. You see, that's one good thing about the God that we serve. As wayward as we get, he hears those prayers. He hears the prayers of that 90-year-old woman who's worried about those kids in jail. He hears those prayers. He hears the prayers of the young entrepreneur. She's opened up her business, and it seems like she can't find that next contract. He hears the prayers. But what we sometimes forget when we send the prayers up is the only way for the blessings to come down is you can't just say you want it. You got to believe it's coming. When you believe something with a burning passion, guess what happens, my friends? You activate the power of the superconscious mind in you. When you become laser focused on your outcome, y'all repeat this statement. Everybody help me with this statement. Y'all ready? I become what I think about all day long. I get what I focus my thoughts on. Okay. You with me? If you're in business, it's not what's happening out there. It's always what's happening in here. Get a checkup from the neck up. Don't you know during the Great Depression, a whole bunch of folks got rich? Guess what, y'all? It's getting ready to happen again. I'm going to give you some very basic fundamental truths. Are y'all ready for this? The housing bubble, the derivatives, all that was the subprime mortgages were the reason for the collapse. True or false? Well, now they're working out the repair. And if you read Ben Bernanke, chairman of the Fed, if you read Tim Geithner, who is Secretary of the Treasury, if you read President Barack Obama, if you read the Republicans, what you're going to hear from them is the best way to solve the problem is to start bundling up a bunch of these houses and letting the private sector own them so they can rent them. I was talking to a reporter from the Bloomberg News. I said, isn't that interesting? Amen. The same folks who created the crisis are now on the other side with their big old pots waiting to get rich off of the recovery. I said, sir, we're going to interrupt this. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm talking to some African Americans who know something about asset management. I'm talking to the folks at Home Free USA who know how to keep people in their homes. We have a solution. Fannie Mae, Freddie, give us some thousands of those homes, and what we're going to do is first keep the people in the house, get the principal and interest reduced, keep them there long enough till their economy stabilizes, and they again own their house without having to move out of it. Nobody is going to save us but us. My time is coming to an end. My friends, I want you all to think about this because I see us the way I know we really are. One of the advantages of coming through a Catholic school, being taught by a bunch of white nuns and white priests after I left grade school, because my grade school teachers were all black, when I was inside of that educational thing, that Catholic thing, because you know Catholics are real rich, I didn't know at 14 and 15 that I was going through the same experience that Moses was going through. I was getting the same training that the Pharaoh got. And then I went on to the seminary, and everybody there was white but me. So I got to find out how they think even when they're relaxed. And drunk. I found out that, what's that woman's name? Bo Derek is not their symbol of beauty. The folks in here, the women in here, you are who they really think is beautiful. Why the hell do you think we had all that miscegenation? But what I found out more than anything else, you all, is this. What I found out more than anything else is this. They are hypersensitive and laser focused on domination. Amen. Did y'all hear me? Yes. They're hypersensitive and laser focused. If you listen to the presidential speeches now, you will hear Mitt Romney say things like, this man is dismantling our military. I'm going to build a military so big and so powerful that nobody on the face of the earth would even dare think of messing with us. Wait a minute, didn't we just get rid of George Bush? Barack Obama is saying to the world, look, we know that you have a right to exist. We don't think that we're better than you. We're just a country like your country. I don't know about you, but to me, that's wisdom. He has made, listen, if you do a poll around the world, the U.S. stock has gone up. Our brand is up. Not because of George Bush and Romney, but because of Barack Obama. Y'all, we ought to be proud of who we are. We should be so proud of who we are when we walk, our heads can touch the stars. Against all odds, my friends, we've come through hell and hell and hell. But here you are right now, beautiful men and women and representatives pushing forth a banner of economic development. We're going to hire our people. We're going to get a lot of those brothers out of prison and put them to work so they can be with their children. We're going to educate our children. We're going to do great things in this country. We've always done great things, but I'm going to leave you with this. Don't wait for no saviors. Don't wait for nobody else, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to save us but us, and nobody should save us but us. God bless you all.